We're switching things up a bit this week and taking you back to school, boasting the motto, "Readiness is the key." Our venue this week is the Signal Hill Secondary School. I have a lot to show and tell today. Let's have a look at what's to come. I'm Davia Chambers, and Let's Talk Tobago starts now. Tobago's share of the 2016 to 2017 national budget. ICT Forum hosted by TATT and later Queen Bee Rearing Workshop. These stories and more when Let's Talk Tobago continues. We'll be right back. In February 1977, with only 10 teachers, the Signal Hill Secondary School opened its doors to 120 Form 4 students from the Scarborough and the Roxborough secondary schools. The then principal and vice principal were Mr. Victor Wheeler and Mr. Oswin Isaac, respectively. Now for some financial matters. The national budget was read recently by Finance Minister Colm Imbert. Our first story has details on Tobago's allocation. We also hear from the Chief Secretary on the budget. Here are the details.
The budgetary allocation to the Tobago House of Assembly for fiscal 2017 is $2.354 billion, of which $2.045 billion would be for recurrent expenditure, $289 million for capital expenditure, and $20 million for the unemployment relief program. It's a sum that the Chief Secretary Orville London is satisfied with, given the financial constraints facing the national economy.
This allocation to the Assembly represents 4.4% of the national budget, well above the bare minimum of 4.03%, which Tobago received from the previous government. Further, we will continue to collaborate with the Assembly in finding novel ways to supplement their budgetary allocation through alternative financing mechanisms, including public-private partnerships.
Over the next fiscal year, Minister Imbert says construction is expected to begin on the long-awaited new airport terminal at Crown Point, as well as significant refurbishment of the existing terminal. In addition, there will be continued development of the flagship diversification project, the Cove Eco-Industrial and Business Park. Continuation and expansion of the Enterprise Assistance Loan and Grant programs, acceleration of the Public Finance and Housing Program, which will be expanded by public-private partnerships, and a drive to ensure that Tobago remains a safe place.
Crime in Tobago continues to be held at manageable levels. The rate is well below the national level, and indeed among the lowest in CARICOM. This notwithstanding, we will keep Tobago safe as we develop a modern security architecture in collaboration with the THA. To that end, tenders would soon be issued for the construction of the long-awaited police stations at Roxborough and Old Grange.
The water crisis in southwest Tobago will also be rectified, and the electricity supply will be made more reliable. I'm Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
It's no joke that students of the Signal Hill Secondary School have talent, as the uniform, logo and motto were designed by students with the assistance of their teachers in September 1977. Now this. Allow me to divert your attention to more pressing matters. It's no secret that the private sector contributes to the development of the island. So this story has details on their views of the Tobago allocation in the recent national budget presentation. Here's Omadara Mills with the details.
The Tobago House of Assembly will get $2.354 billion for the 2016 to 2017 fiscal period. Now that's 4.4% of the national budget. And although members of the Tobago Division of the Business Chamber are concerned with the imbalance between the recurrent expenditure of $2.045 billion and the capital expenditure of $289 million, they are confident that the THA can work with what it's being given.
I think it's manageable. And I think the economy of Tobago can continue. I think $2.3 billion is something that the Assembly can run the Tobago economy with. It's just a lot of tighten up in terms of their expenses and their expenditure.
The government is seeking to facilitate the proposed construction of Sandals and its family-oriented beaches resort in Tobago. The presence of this resort brand will provide employment during and after construction, attract other investments, boost agriculture and other service sectors, and contribute $500 million to the country's economy annually. Funds have also been allocated for refurbishing the A&R Robinson International Airport and building a new airport terminal, which is creating optimism among the island's tourism stakeholders.
So we really need something between now and the 2.5 years to help the industry survive in Tobago at the moment, and I'm hoping that the increased funds that were said to be allocated for destination marketing and room enhancement come through, because, as has been said many times before, over the last 10 years we've had all sorts of government loan guarantees promised, different offers made, but none of it has ever materialised for Tobago. So hopeful, but still waiting to see action.
All approved agro-processing activities will be tax-free starting from the second quarter of 2017, a proposal that will benefit agro-processors on the island.
We are very happy that we are able to get tax-free and continue to support the farmers who we do support in Trinidad and who we support here in Tobago. So for agro-processing, that is a plus, and we are very excited to be called as an association to present our members to be certified for this incentive.
Members of the Tobago Division of the Business Chamber are hopeful that the measures announced by the Minister of Finance for improving the sectors outside of oil and gas will be fruitful. The business sector also expects that the Assembly will be able to use the money allocated in a strategic manner for the benefit of all on the island. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
With Mr. Bertil St. Clair as coach, this Signal Hill school won its first intercol title. The boys on the hill continue to maintain that winning streak as they won their football match hosted by the secondary school's football league recently. We switch gears now to talk about a bit of history. Assembly Legislature recently hosted an exhibition to foster public awareness of Tobago's history. Crystal George fills us in.
As the saying goes, a people without the knowledge of their past is like a tree without roots. To foster public awareness, the Assembly Legislature recently hosted an exhibition with sessions for school children as well as the wider public.
The aim of this exhibition, Tobago House of Assembly, a retrospective view, is to build public awareness of Tobago's legislative history and how our history has made us who we are. In this exhibition, we choose to show off our history in a more interactive and engaging way.
Assembly Legislature staff decide to put a spin on proceedings. So instead of just having lectures and distributing pamphlets about the operation of the legislature, they engage the audience with drama, treasure hunts, puzzle rooms, so they could have fun while learning.
What we have is different activities in various rooms. We have a theatrical aspect, a drama, that periodicals different times from around 18th century, also 1985 when the Assembly Legislature was reopened. Right? We also have different archival documents and rare documents where individuals as well could learn about the legislative history within Tobago.
Participants said that they took away valuable lessons from the sessions.
Today in the library, I learned that Carl Chang designed the national flag. It impacted me because I understand we are never too little to make a difference, and our inventions and ideas can impact a country.
What I learned today is really mostly about Tobago's history and to see how it impacted so much on my life, and to see what we have been through as an island. It's amazing.
Secretaries were also intrigued by the event.
I was quite intrigued with what I experienced, and I think the children would really enjoy coming through here and learning about the history of the Tobago House of Assembly and the legislature. I think it's important for them to understand where we came from in terms of our charting our way forward. And so I was really pleased with the way they did the quiz. I wanted to play the snakes and ladders. However, I understand it's for primary school children.
This is the third year of the Assembly Legislature exhibition. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
On the other side of the break, ICT Forum hosted by TATT. Don't move. Let's Talk Tobago will be right back.
As a trained tour guide, I was able to travel the world, educate my children, purchase a new vehicle, teach my children about the natural history of Tobago, and it's there I realized that there's no place like home sweet home. I'm a trained tour guide. My name is Kathy Ann Grant, and tourism is all our team.
Welcome back. You're viewing Let's Talk Tobago. The Signal Hill Secondary School has had many national scholarship winners. September 1990, however, marked the beginning of this trend as Merson Bartlett was the first Tobago student to win an open scholarship in business studies. The school's library was named after Mr. Bartlett in honor of his achievement. Listen up. Bullying can happen anywhere to anyone. That's why the Telecommunications Authority of Trinidad and Tobago hosted its 24th ICT Forum to raise awareness about cybersecurity. Here are the details in this story.
Bullying can be physical, verbal, or psychological. And when this behavior is carried out using electronic technology, it becomes cyberbullying. The Telecommunications Authority of Trinidad and Tobago used the 24th ICT Forum to create awareness about the dangers of cyberbullying. It's one way the association has educated children about safe internet practices. Cyberbullying typically affects teenagers and is carried out by their peers. One police officer was able to provide some useful tips to victims of cyberbullying.
So what can we do about cyberbullying? Back to the topic. The first thing that we should do, we should know that it is not our fault if somebody is harassing us online. The second thing, inform your parents, teachers, or as I just said, a trusted adult. Do not retaliate. I think this was mentioned before. Save the evidence, also mentioned before. Take screenshots, document, inform your parents.
The children also learned that bullying can have an impact on mental health and sometimes leads to substance abuse and poor academic performance.
Anyone is at risk for cyberbullying. Individuals who are bullied are more likely to use drugs and alcohol, skip school. They may receive poor grades because you can't focus, you can't pay attention, may have lower self-esteem, have more health problems because chronic worry sometimes will lead to some health problems, whether it is, anxiety.
Young people are also being warned to be cyber smart about what they post on social media, as it can result in threats to their personal safety.
Some threats to personal safety include, as I just mentioned, cyber stalking, the use of internet to stalk or harass individuals. Keep in mind that what you post online can affect you, your friends, your family, and even your future as a professional. Being cyber smart is being mindful of what you do or post online.
At the forum, which was hosted at the Scarborough Library facility, the youngsters were advised to think before they post. I'm Kern DeFreitas for Let's Talk Tobago.
In 1997, the school changed its name to the Signal Hill Secondary Comprehensive School. This happened after receiving its first cohort of Form 1 students. However, in 2009, the school once again changed its name to what's known today as the Signal Hill Secondary School. And speaking of change, the Milo Jumpstart team launched a new initiative which encourages a healthy lifestyle. Here are the details in this report.
The Milo Jumpstart team recently rolled into Tobago. The program focuses on healthy physical activity, especially sporting disciplines. It targets young people ages 7 to 16 and urges parents to ensure the children eat well and stay active.
Milo Jumpstart is an initiative that DS took up to kind of involve the kids in different disciplines. and basically teach them the fundamentals of the game and the nutrition aspect of eating healthy. It was a great initiative because the kids went away at least learning something so they can follow through in life.
The participants learn about health, wellness, and nutrition, which has a positive impact on their physical development, as well as their academic performances. The program gave an overview of various sports instead of focusing on one discipline.
It's kind of introducing them to sports that they have never participated in. So if you never played cricket, it's to kind of give you a feel on how to play cricket and kind of grasp the love for it.
It was the first, but certainly not the last time this initiative will be held in Tobago.
This is the first time that they introduced it in Tobago, and they tried to use Bonaccord as the first area to kind of introduce it. And I think the next step, they said that they will try to implement it both on the west side of the island and have at least 2 Milo Jumpstart program the next time they come around.
Jumpstart is all about encouraging people to adopt healthy eating and lifestyles. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago. Here's an interesting school fact for you. The 4 sport houses in the school are named after Dwight York, Merson Bartlett, Victor Wheeler, and Bertil St. Clair in honor of their national achievements. Now, the Business Development Unit hosted its fashion workshop to provide designers with additional skills and knowledge they need to drive their brand. Here's more in this report. Tobago's fashion industry is growing, so it's important that the people driving the industry have the knowledge and the skills required to establish their brands locally, regionally, and internationally. That's the inspiration behind a one-day fashion workshop hosted by the Business Development Unit of the Division of Finance and Enterprise Development.
We are developing sectors in Tobago. We decided, coming out of interviews and visits to the designers, we realized that there was a need to upgrade the fashion industry in Tobago, both in quality and quantity. So the unit decided that at this time it will be important for us to have a training workshop for most of the designers.
The workshop covered a range of topics, including criteria for the assessment of quality. The participants learned that the aesthetics and the functionality are 2 important aspects to consider when determining the quality of an outfit.
In defining quality, we're looking at fitness for purpose, conformance with requirements, the requirements that you set, meeting customer expectations, what the customer wants, and offering value for money.
But to be export ready, garment manufacturers on the island must know about the advanced technologies available today and how to use them.
So you go into your store, your boutique, and you have a set of options in your handheld device. So instead of telling the designer or the merchandiser in the store what you're thinking about, you're actually designing your garment right there. The image that you design is transmitted to the factory, and they produce your customized garment for you in hours. That's the future of fashion.
One designer says she found the workshop very informative.
We would like to get into exports as well as we do custom designing as well. So in terms of choosing our materials and things, I found out different tests I could choose so I could improve on as well as materials as well as the making.
The workshop is just one of the ways the Division of Finance and Enterprise Development is helping to develop Tobago's export capacity. It's one big step towards ensuring the island's long-term economic sustainability. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago. Highlights on the Queen Bee Rearing Workshop. Let's Talk Tobago will be right back. Stay with us.
The Signal Hill Secondary School is famous for the country's best dance crew, CBDC show. This show features dancers from a variety of schools across the nation as they compete for the title. CBDC Cycle 5 is to be hosted on November 19th at the school's auditorium. Try not to miss it. Now, who doesn't like honey? The Beekeeping Congress facilitated a workshop to help local beekeepers increase their yield with industry best practice. Here are the details in this report.
The 8th Caribbean Beekeeping Congress was hosted in Tobago, creating quite a buzz on the island. But before the event got underway, another very important session took place at the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute in Mount St. George, a queen rearing workshop. It's a critical part of ensuring that there are enough hives and honey to go around.
The queen rearing course is more or less rearing queens or raising queens to start new colonies. More bees means more honey. So the more colonies that we have is the more we can produce honey. We want to reach to the point where we can export honey from the country. So this technique will help us to multiply faster, and that way we will be able to produce more honey. So Trinidad and Tobago could sustain themselves and export honey.
It's also a big eye-opener for the participants who all have some level of beekeeping experience.
What you'll realize is that each country in the region has its own methods, has its own challenges, has its own... So when you get the feedback from everyone and you get to network and you get to learn together, it really expands now how much you as an individual can produce.
It's good that we're here, we can ask questions, you have more people that are just into new beekeeping like ourselves, and then you have some really experienced beekeepers. So it's good that we have this platform where we can communicate with each other and learn as much as we can.
It's good to have this interaction, and that this way of learning it's just amazing, because you don't stick to only the internet and to the books, but you also have this practical experience together with other people who share their experience.
The beekeeping industry in Tobago once flourished in decades gone by, but it's been impacted primarily by pests and diseases. Initiatives like this workshop can fast-track the development of the industry and attract more beekeepers.
What we are doing, we are developing beekeepers, we are recruiting new beekeepers, we are training, and we are trying to bring Tobago honey out. It is a big step, and the potential for the industry is that we can reach worldwide. We can export to countries, well, all over the world.
From a Tobago perspective, it's about more than just boosting the industry. It's also about supporting the island's economic diversification efforts. For the local beekeepers, that's just, well, sweet. I'm Kern De Freitas for Let's Talk Tobago.
Now, in order for your child to be a well-rounded boy or girl, the school has numerous clubs that include the RBC Young Leaders, the Signal Hill Access Club, and the Signal Hill Band. Now the Trinidad and Tobago Prisons Service has launched a new initiative geared towards rehabilitating Tobago's inmates. Here's that story.
Prisoners on the island will showcase their skills at an exhibition to be hosted by the Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service. A team met with Chief Secretary Orville London to share their plans.
This particular program is an outreach program where we seek to get the involvement of other stakeholders in the entire process of reintegrating offenders from the system. This morning we had a very fruitful conversation with the Chief Secretary in terms of bringing this outreach program to Tobago.
From craft to paintings, the public will learn more about the prison service's efforts towards rehabilitating prisoners.
In Tobago, it's just a small prison. In Trinidad, we have more than one. However, it's important for the Tobagonians to also realize that we need to take a holistic approach to how we deal with crime. Crime is not police business, it's not prisoners' business, it's not the court's business, it's everybody's business. And we need to sensitize the public to what we do, what we are trying to do.
He says the goal is to highlight all talented individuals who would have broken the law at some point in their life.
And what we would try to do as much as possible There's also showcase the talents of any Tobagonian who may have run afoul of the law and you may not have heard anything. Let's see a positive side of them too.
The exhibition is planned for December at a public space. I'm Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
Music is another area where the students of the Signal Hill Secondary School excel. They emerged winners of the 2010 Music Festival and received the Prime Minister's Award for Most Outstanding Junior Choir. So let's take a look at the Blackrock Community Tournament, which was held to achieve togetherness and liveliness in their area. Have a look at what I mean.
Even if you don't know how to play this game, you can still come out and support your favorite team or mingle with your fellow villagers. That's the idea behind this All-Fours tournament hosted by the Blackrock Youths Transforming and Evolving, or BRIGHT. It's a group of young people who are seeking to keep the community vibrant, even after its participation in the Tobago Heritage Experience. The group also plans to host a bonfire event at the Corland Heritage Park later this year.
They can come to the bonfire and just socialize. You know, we've lost a lot of that with technology and the internet and the WhatsApp. So, you know, to bring back that kind of personal touch. Our village is small. We can count how many streets here. We know how many people live here. We know when there's a strange face. You know, so just keeping what we have gotten from our foreparents and just keep that going to pass it on for generations to come.
The community members are also seeking to restart Sunday's School, a family-oriented movie night.
As with any kind of initiative, the opportunity for interaction between communities or across, you know, for families and that kind of thing, this type of environment allows for children to develop, let's say, harmonious relationships. It allows for interaction. So you might have a child meeting a friend and saying, you know, learning how to interact with other children around his age, the parents that are bringing the children. It genuinely is an opportunity for a melting pot per se on a Sunday afternoon.
The movie night is also a way of raising funds for items needed in the community.
We are saying here in Blackrock that we're not necessarily waiting on a handout, but we are looking to get things done on our own. We're not always going to count on community development or sport or whatever to help us get things in our community done. We are willing to get behind the ball and do it on our own.
The activities being carried out by the residents of Blackrock are in keeping with the mission of the Division of Community Development and Culture, which is to improve the quality of life of Tobagonians through community mobilization, while preserving, promoting, and appreciating our unique cultural traditions. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
It's Have Your Say time, and our question this week is, what do you consider good customer service? While you think about it, let's take a look at who had their say this week.
Good customer service would simply be ensuring that the customer is satisfied and gets everything that the customer needs as much as possible, giving them information, and like I said, ensuring that the customer gets what they came for.
The good service provided, whether internal or external, making sure that your consumer leaves happy.
I believe good customer services is number one, being polite. When customers come in, you have a pleasant smile on your face, not a frown.
Good customer service is treating persons with a good, friendly, efficient attitude.
A service that is provided for a customer to ensure that the customer is satisfied, happy, and can leave your business comfortable, knowing that what they came for, they were able to get. Even if they didn't get it tangibly, they would have gotten it intangibly by the service you provided for them.
We close another edition of Let's Talk Tobago, and as always, we thank you for watching. We'd also like to thank Miss Aurora Nett of Charlottesville, who's never missed an episode of Let's Talk Tobago. Thank you for always viewing. Remember, you can email us with your comments or queries about the program, and be sure to visit our website, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. From our house to yours, I'm Davia Chambers, along with the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, wishing you a safe and very productive week. We close now with a montage of Pas le Touvier, the French in We. We do hope you enjoy.